obviously this constitutes chemical and biological warfare. This constitutes genocide and 100 other different crimes.
Okay.
2 months ago, I was in until the 15th of June. I was in Rome, and I did a 60-day hunger strike there.
Yes, you did.
And I founded the Vatican there, and Pope Francis. And why? Well, because this program exists by virtue of an ethical loophole that the Vatican created in 1953 for secular governments.
Yeah.
The Vatican gave them permission to poison people into sterility so long as they do it while healing another disease. So, which is why every time governments introduce another depopulation, poison has to be masked, to be under the pretext of healing a disease. So that's why you have fluoride, presumably to prevent tooth decay.
Yeah.
You have GMOs, presumably to solve vitamin deficiencies and mineral deficiencies in the poor world, and famine and so on. And each and every one of their poisons is masked as a measure, as a medicine to heal some other disease. And this is because of the loophole that the Vatican created. And I asked the Vatican to close that loophole, to come out and speak the truth, close the gates to hell, as I put it, because they have opened the gates to hell in giving secular authorities the moral permission to commit genocide. I was there for 60 days, a hunger strike, and everybody can see the videos that I've made on my YouTube channel. They can read everything that I wrote, because I wrote every day to the Vatican, to Pope Francis, and there was communication back and forth with their representative. And it looks like they've now changed their ways. They have now approved the use of contraceptives, so which means that they're allowing in allowing governments to push contraceptives. They no longer force governments to go behind our back. So that was one of the obstacles that the Vatican constituted. So now I'm taking down the secular wing of the global depopulation policy. I have, in a sense, taken down the religious wing. Now I'm attacking the secular wing, because these two are both responsible for the system of genocide. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Kevin has shared some amazing insights tonight into depopulation, and I've got to say, you've really, really grounded me and brought me right back down to earth, and got me thinking. I mean, we're all guilty. We all brush our teeth. We all do these things, every day. We've got kids, we want to keep our families safe. We depend on those governments and people that take care of us, that are supposed to take care of us, to tell us the truth, to give us the truth, to keep us safe. And so far, it's just coming forward that they're not doing anything of the sort. They're infringing our human rights, and they are depopulating. You can catch Kevin's stuff. We'll put a load of links on our page. We have run out of time, unfortunately, for Kevin, but we thank you so much, and we wish you all the luck in the world over there at Geneva, and you have our full support, and thank you so much for sharing your work with us.
Just one last word. I've just posted my GoFundMe and PayPal links in case anybody wants to donate any kind of money to make this my trip possible. I'm still short a few $100s, and I'd appreciate any kind of help.
Absolutely, and if we can try and help you from here, World Ascension, we will, because that's what we're about. Any donations that we get, any funding, we are funding people like yourself to go out there and be the change that we want to see, break the barriers of separation. It starts here. It starts with us. We have to get this out there, the truth.
Yeah, if people awaken, this will be a relatively easy thing to restore decency and sanity and the rule of law and get rid of this genocide. Because
absolutely,
it'll spell the end of all of us if we don't.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. And I think now we're heading back to Lindsay, and I think Lindsay has Bernard Alvarez on the line. Are you there, Lindsay?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here as well as Bernard. Bernard, I thank you so much for being here. I know you had to give up something really awesome just to be present, and I'm just grateful. So thank you so much.
I'm very happy to be here, Lindsay. Thank you for having me here.
I'm honored. Like I said, you've been a big part of my life for quite some time, as you know, as we've spoken before. And you know, Bernard, he's quite amazing, a very educated man, and he has his own radio show. He actually built a platform for the Global Illumination Council a while back, which I kind of got my start on, in a sense, as just everything. I don't know. Bernard, you've helped me a lot. So just via that platform years ago, and I really just I want you to just kind of go in and, you know, kind of kick it off, introduce yourself, what you do, etc., like your occupation and all these amazing things that you're currently doing right now.
All right. Well, thank you, and welcome everybody to the World Ascension Conference online. I am very honored to be here and be a part of this. But a little bit about myself. I could probably go on for hours about the work that I've been doing, but I will just say that, like Andrew, I do have a contact story to share with everybody.
Actually, Bernard, I'm sorry to interrupt. Andy is back on with us every week.
Awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah, just so you know, I have him. Yeah. I have him on speakerphone right now, so he is totally in here with us. So we're good.
In our experiences and in our work.
Hang on one second.
I'm sorry, what?
Go ahead, Bernard.
I was going to say that my spiritual work started off back in 1992 when I did have my contacting experience. And like Andy, I was honored to be brought into the presence of multiple light beings. These light beings were the ones who gave me the information that I utilize now and that I utilize as a reference point for the information that I share with the world. The Book of One, the book that I wrote, it's called The Book of One, and yes, it's available on Amazon, is that experience. And I'm not going to go into too much of that tonight because I'm here to talk about Ascension. I'm hoping that I have the ability to share with you some information not only relating to the Ascension, but into how those of us who have tapped into this consciousness, those of us who have had that quote unquote awakening, can utilize perhaps some exercises or some work that we can do, some practices that can help us with that. Now,
right, exactly.
I started off this journey, as I said, doing a shamanic vision quest. And during that shamanic vision quest, I was introduced to One. They call themselves One. I call them the emissaries of light. One was a group of transdimensional entities that were or are beings of light who I am still in contact with today. But I was a young man at that time when I got the information from them, and I wasn't quite ready to share the information with the world and or apply that information within my life. Several years later, they came back into my life and wanted to explain what they shared with me, and that is how the Book of One was created.
Right,
and that's out there now.
And Bernard, is this in reference to what you were saying, how you and Andy had similar stories? One reason that I'm interjecting is because I do have Andy on speakerphone, as I said earlier. So I'm going to apologize if I hear Andy talking because I do have my speakers here up very loudly. So if I hear Andy speaking on my phone, if he asks a question, I'm just going to interject if that's okay with you.
Sure, by all means, by all means. Just a question for you. Am I supposed to be looking at you? I see you on my screen.
It doesn't. I mean,
Oh,
well, my screen, it flashes kind of back and forth. Like I can only see you. It doesn't matter. I'm doing two recordings. So basically, what I'm recording, it's just a screen. So it doesn't matter.
No problem.
It doesn't
Just
matter.
wanted to ask you. That's all.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Wanted to make sure the tech was doing what it was supposed to be doing. I know what it's like. You know, I deal with the same thing. So I understand the technical hurdles of that. I just wanted to clarify. Anyway, with that, though, like I said, I was introduced to these meetings for Life called One, and it's interesting. Throughout my career, I'm finding people that have also connected with this group of light beings called One. And again, I call them the emissaries of light. But beyond that, let me go beyond that. Let me go into what we're talking about here tonight, and that's Ascension. And I'm hoping that I can share some of what I experienced with them, as well as any work that we can do to not only aid our ascension, but to aid others into being attracted into the path of ascension. And that first thing is, what is this ascension everyone is talking about? Let's get it down to the nuts and bolts. Let's get real. What is this ascension? I have heard theories and concepts and speculation as to what ascension is. Is ascension, now these are some of the things I have heard. Ascension is the mothership coming and hovering over the earth and sucking us all into the mothership. I've heard the idea of a rapture-like experience where we all just leave our body and we move into the cosmos and disappear. I've also heard very logical explanations like the ascension is just a part of humanity awakening. And for me, and I'll share what it is for me. For me, this idea of ascension is very realistic. And what it taps into what is happening right now on the planet. What is happening right now on the planet for me, and again, I will precurse everything I say, but for me, this is what I'm experiencing. I do not speculate. I only deal with what I experience. And what I have been experiencing is this wonderful awakening happening around the planet. I have been in contact with thousands and thousands of people that are having these aha moments, these epiphanies, call them downloads, call them, epiphanies, aha moments, whatever it is that you want to call it, but there is something happening on the planet right now. If I were to go into perhaps, let's say, the astrological studies, astrologically speaking, we are going through a period where we do have a quote-unquote window open right now. And if I'm not mistaken, that window is closing in 2017. And this is my reference is Amelia Bent. I don't know how many of you know her, a very dear friend of mine and a light worker here on the planet. But the idea that we are going through this grand awakening that suddenly, spontaneously, individuals around the planet are having these aha moment epiphanies. Now, with that, this gives us the reality that we are ascending. For me, ascension is a part of the process. It is a part of our evolutionary growth. It is undeniably the human's individual destiny. Whether we want to believe that we're having awakening, whether we want to believe that there is an ascension, the idea of ascension is not us floating into some mothership. The idea of the ascension is not us, all of a sudden waking up into 5D reality. The ascension is a part of the process. And with that comes certain individual responsibilities. What do I mean by individual responsibilities? Individual responsibilities is the idea that we are living here on this planet in 2016. We do have life, We are in human form. We are not in spirit form. For me, the goal might be, a great film that I will make reference to is, oh geez, what was it? The Celestine Prophecy. Did anyone ever see that film?
Right.
Yeah, there's a scene there.
I have the book.
Oh, there you go. Celestine Prophecy made a great reference to what the 5D Ascension reality might mean. It's a great reference in the sense that it shows that these people in physical form suddenly transcended their physical form. If you remember the movie, or maybe in the book, the scene where they're being attacked by, not attacked, but being overwhelmed by these military guerrilla type people. I think they're from the Vatican, actually. And they suddenly became invisible, and they saw the same thing everyone was seeing, but it was brighter, it was more beautiful, there was more of a connection with it. They were more in tune with each other. They had the ability to telepathically communicate with one another. And I say this because we don't really understand what Ascension is unless we understand what the goal is. And I have to say, and I think Andrew said it best as well, there's not a goal. There's not a goal. When we talk about Ascension is a path. Ascension is ongoing. We can ascend into the 5D, certainly, by all means. We can certainly become light beings that are telepathic and whatnot. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. And I heard that from my contacts, emissaries of light. According to them, they were like ninth dimensional light beings. Well, if they're ninth dimensional light beings, is there more? And through my own practices and through my own meditations, I know that the path is infinite. So the idea that humanity is going to ascend to 5D is only the beginning.
Right.
And I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
This is a path. It's not something that, okay, we're all going to live in this idea of paradise and heaven.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and I totally agree. Andy, do you have anything to say about that?
No, just that I think that's a very important point, that Ascension is not an end state. It is a path, and if it has any meaning in this life, we have to ask, what are the practices in this life that will align with each of us ultimately reaching that spiritual state? It's a pretty complex thing when you think about it. And I'm going to address those in my 7 principles in the interview with you, but I think we have to view it as a dynamic process, a path, as Bernard just said, and not as not a condition that we reach in this lifetime or necessarily an end state. Because, for example, the impression I got about the 3 light beings that I met that literally entered my existence to brief me on something cosmically, I got the impression that they were like caseworkers. In other words, when we get there to that state of ascended being, everything we've done in all of our lifetimes is going to inform what we will then be doing in terms of cosmic or universal service dynamically as ascended being.
Right.
Couldn't agree more.
Yes.
I could not agree more. And I will say this, that would be the core of my thought. I'd like to call it an alchemy. It is about alchemy. And what I mean by alchemy is that it is the focused intention process of transcending and transmuting our own consciousness, our own body, our own mind, our own spirit. And there is work to be done. It's not just about, and I have to say that, the Ascension movement, the awakening movement, the light movement, the Starseed movement, we talk a lot about aha moments. We talk a lot about quote-unquote downloads and whatnot. And yes, it's wonderful that we have these spontaneous experiences. I believe that is definitely the start of it. And yes, they do continue throughout your path, but it's not all of it. A part of that is the work that we do as individuals, the intention of becoming brighter, more aware. It takes work. It's not just something that's going to happen spontaneously. And that is what I mean by alchemy. Alchemy is the intention of transmuting what we are today into greater tomorrow. So yes, you've had the awakening experience, you've had the dream, you've had the aha moment, you've had the ability, you know you're a light worker, you know you're a starseed, you know you have this experience with light beings, but what do we do with that? What do we do with that? Do we just say, wow, I've had this experience with light beings, or I've had this aha moment, I've had this download? Did they not say within all of those downloads, within all of those experiences, that we are responsible for our own consciousness?
Yes.
And if they didn't, I would question those beings. We are responsible for what we perceive.
Yes.
We are responsible
Yes.
for our own consciousness and our steps that need to be taken.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of, I've seen a lot of things like, you know, you were talking about Ascension earlier, Bernard, you know, you've seen this, you've seen that. This is what some people talk about as they view this awakening, whatever. Well, also there are people that they also think that these star beings or light beings are coming to save us. Well, it's kind of like with anything, whatever force is helping you. I'm not saying the Pleiadians and these star beings and these light beings are not helping us, just like our spirit guides, but we have to meet them halfway. We have to be responsible as well.
And they're meeting us for a reason. And that is the reason. They are meeting us to inspire us. They are meeting us to guide us. They're not here to be our mother or our father or
Right.
to save us. They're trying to give you the tools to save yourself. They're going to say that, you know, you've been waiting for the savior. Well, guess what? You are the savior.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And this message is you as the savior. It is you who are responsible to aid in the awakening of humanity. It is you that is responsible in your own awakening and in your own ascension.
Right. You know.
So how do we go
right,
ahead,
right. Yeah. And I totally want to agree with that. Like, how do we aid? How do we do this? You know, this is one of the main things I wanted to say tonight. Above anything, I see so many people walking around, and this is just my whatever. I understand that some people can't be active, but here's the deal. You could be active by simply posting on Facebook, you know, some kind of, you know, it's just something about the truth, you know.
Yeah.
But how effing dare, because I'm going to get fired up about this. How dare people walk around? Because I know a lot of them very well. It's like a favorite quote from my song, you know, how dare you complain about the situation in which you're living and do nothing to stop it and do nothing to prevent or be active in any way. But like I said, you know, a lot of people, you know, please guys, don't judge yourselves out there. Don't feel like you're not doing anything just because, you know, you're not speaking to certain people or doing a conference, because it, you know, this kind of stuff doesn't happen overnight, and this might not be your path, or you might have another path, but literally, but rightly so, you know. At the same time, please understand that you are so valuable and you're doing enough in your astral state and your higher state and via your consciousness, as well as if you're even just posting on Facebook. You are making a huge change in humanity. So please don't be too hard on yourself. Please don't, you know, really go within. Just back to what Bernard said. The change begins within. We are our own saviors. Yes, we have alternate elements and spirits and energetic, plugins or, you know, entities that help us from a higher density. But it's our job to tune our ears, minds, hearts, and just entire awareness to what we're going to see and focus on, you know, and really accept, learn, listen, and then act.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly. And as well, what I was trying to say is that we all have our own individual path. And once we get these downloads, once we get this aha moment, find what it is that you resonate with.
Right.
If you resonate with technology and live streaming and media, do that. If you resonate with working, at parties or Burger King or something like that, you are so talking about it with your friends and your counselor and you're supportive and you're loving. Resonate with a good person. You do not need to be a consciousness media star to change the world. You do not need to give up everything to change the world. I am one of those people that gave up everything to do what I'm doing. And I'll tell you, there's the hardest path to follow.
Yeah.
If you love what you're doing already, add this into it.
Yeah. And
Move on. Keep moving on. And love what you're doing, but yet still be genuine. Still be true.
Right.
I know you have
Right. I mean, we spoke, I spoke to someone a few weeks ago. They said, I can't believe, I'm amazed. I'm so proud of you for continuing this. And then I've had, Dolly's had people tell her, oh, maybe not, you got whatever. I've had someone tell me you need to find another line of work. I will, honey, like, yeah. Oh, there you go. And you know what? I'll be damned. I'm not going to support even though we have to dwell in to a sense, we have to still use this Babylonian magic money system. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and doesn't mean I have to wholeheartedly, consciously support it, because I will tell you that it is the hardest job to do this kind of stuff. And the reason I see that is because people think that people in this business have so much money. They think, they think,
we're all poor, trust me, we're all poor.
Exactly, because we all, number one, it's like we donate every single dime we have left over, and I'm just going to be honest. Like, I've literally stopped going to Whole Foods because of this conference. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and just having to bless my food and etc. and do some like energetic work on it,
well,
just to do this.
You're making a very good point, because it goes beyond just blessing our food. And you made a good point earlier. Not harming our bodies and put the best in our bodies. But I will add to that, in saying that we are individuals. And we are individuals with a perception, let's call it source consciousness, perceiving reality from an individual stance. The reality is that, yes, we are all source consciousness. We are all one unified consciousness individually experiencing reality. And in doing so, your individual reality and my individual reality might be a little bit different. I just did an interview with someone from the UK. The Kevin Moore show actually interviewed me. And one of the things we talked about was the idea of, hey, you know what? I still smoke cigarettes. Hey, I still enjoy hamburgers. Hey, I still, like to drink pasta.
Right.
These things that are part of the 3D matrix.
Yeah.
Let me say one thing. Let me just say this. Let me end the thought. In the idea that the 3D matrix is not evil. Being a human being is not evil. Right. Allowing yourself to partake of the 3D matrix is not evil. What becomes evil is becoming obsessed with the 3D matrix, becoming obsessed with vodka, becoming obsessed with cigarettes, sex, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But you know what? As a human being, you have the right to enjoy life as you see fit. I call it harm reduction. Harm reduction is my campaign. Eat the best you can, drink the best you can, live the best you can with the consciousness. Now, this is here. The consciousness is being aware that you are doing something that might not be good for you, but you're going to reduce it. You're going to reduce the harm. You're not going to brush your fluoride toothpaste. You might use something else. You might put a fluoride filter on your shower head, so you're not sucking the fluoride while you're taking a shower. Yeah, by the way, guys, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Take a hot shower, you're sucking in fluoride.
Yep.
Put a fluoride filter on your shower. It's about harm reduction. the idea of perfectionism in this movement has caused many people to leave the movement or get crazy.
Or get crazy,
we
yes.
cannot be perfect. Don't try to be perfect. Try the idea of harm reduction. I am aware of what I'm doing. I'm aware I'm smoking ultralights. Now I'm aware I'm just I'll drink a bunch of weed. But the idea, being aware of it and doing harm reduction, because perfectionism is its own sickness and its own illness.
And you know what, Bernard, I could not agree more. They actually say that people who drink, stay up late, and have a tendency to do whatever, drugs or whatever, live a longer life and are more intelligent, whatever. That's just a statistic. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's true.
I'll share with you something. My grandfather was 99 years old when he died. He drank rum and smoked cigars every day of his life, but he was a good man. And let me take this one step further. It's not only about harm reduction. It is about feeding your soul.
There you go. Thank you.
When we are connected with source consciousness, when we are connected with universal life force energy, that universal life force energy is going to replenish not only your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. You can literally, and I don't want to sound like one of those people that, and nothing against them, but those that believe that they have off the sun in some cases. Good for you, that's great. But the everyday person is not going to be in some days. The everyday person can meditate.
But
the everyday person can allow universal life force energy into their body to help balance the imbalances that we, as human beings, on a path of harm reduction, whether that harm reduction be cigarettes or drinking or pot or whatever it is you're into, if you continue to meditate and allow the universal life force energy, I think of it, and I'm a Reiki master, I think of it like giving Reiki to yourself, giving energy, feeding that energy. And that's what happens when you keep supplementing your body with that energy, that universal life force energy. Eventually, you begin to have a dialogue with your higher self. Mm-hmm. That is a part of the ascension process.
Yes, and I really
in the universal life force energy, you will now begin to have a conversation with your higher self. That higher self, that dialogue is going to help you with your intuition. It's going to help you with meditation practices. It's going to help you with your harm reduction campaign, whatever that might be. And it's also going to help you to guide you in the direction you need to go. Again, going back to what Lucy was saying, are we going to be armchair activists on Facebook? Are we going to be yoga instructors? Are we just going to work on Hardee's and be a good person? Whatever works for you is fine. There is no unique, perfect person. By creating that dialogue with your higher self, you're going to understand your infinite capabilities. That higher self is transcendent. That higher self is beyond all lives, all your past lives, all of your future lives. That higher self is in touch with the cosmic records that we all talk of quite often. That higher self needs to become a part of the conversation in your mind. And when I say that, I talk a lot about meditation and I share a lot of skills and practices when it comes to meditation. But the idea of meditation is not blocking out the noise. It's about identifying the noise, identifying the thoughts that keep moving through, and identifying what is ego, what is trivial, and what is the higher self in intuition. When you begin to have that conversation with the higher self, you're going to find you can meditate easier, you can discern, and I love the word discernment, I'll get into that in a minute. Trusting your intuition, trusting and connecting with your higher self. You will be motivated just through that alone. Just through that alone.
Precisely, and
I see a comment.
Yeah, I just want to really reiterate what you were saying was, no matter what really matters in this life, you can be sick on your deathbed. The doctors can say you have whatever X amount of months to live. What are you going to do for the rest of those 3 months? You're going to focus on what makes you happy and on your spirit. You're going to go internally. You're not going to go externally and say, oh, I don't know, I'm trying to put this in the best way, shape, and form. Just please, guys, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't, this whole thing, being in this line of work, it's not easy to go to Whole Foods every week. It's not, okay? It's like, I know people are like, oh, well, you need to take care of yourself too. Okay, but I also have a job to do for others, and this is what I embody. Like I said, I've been told to leave this line of work, that blah blah blah, and I said, over my dead body, and I mean it when I say it. I have traveled so far. I've come a very long way to tell people a story that is the truth of my life and share it with others, and etc. Angels come when you least expect them. But here's the thing: there's no turning back. Once you tip this point, there's no turning back for some. I know for me, there's not, because I will. It's either you gotta ride hard or die trying. No matter what field you go into and you resonate with, but you ride hard or you die trying, because I will live by those words. Like, literally, if someone approached me right now, and people might think this sounds crazy, and they said, oh, give up World Ascension Conference, give up your beliefs, you're not going to be able to help anymore, you either back down, or we're just going to assassinate you, I'd say, put a bullet through my head. Let's get this done, because I'll come back.
And that's the other thing. Let me thank you for bringing that up. That's very, very important. There is an aspect of our movement, whether it be the Ascension movement, truth movement, the awakening movement, the light worker movement, whatever it is that you want to call it, there is and I will say this very blatantly, a very sick, malaligned connection with darkness and fear.
Right.
We have many of us, a very, how should I say, a cloak and dagger aspect of the work that we are doing, that the FBI is watching you, the CIA is watching you, that everyone is watching me, and everything that goes wrong in my life is FBI, CIA.
Right.
You know what? If you think that's happening, that's true.
Right.
If you think that's happening, that's true. We need to forget the NSA, forget the CIA, forget the FBI, and do the work that we are intended to do. Because the moment that you give them
permission,
your attention, you're giving them power over you.
Exactly.
You are making energetic connection to the dark forces on this planet, and you are just inviting all that nonsense into your world.
Thank you.
I say this from experience. I say this from being attacked by the NSA, being attacked by the CIA. My computer ripped apart during when I moved here to Rona from the FBI. I say this because I brought that into my own life, and now I ignore the nonsense that men do, and yes, it's usually men, not women.
Right.
The nonsense that men do in this world, do not give them your attention.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Acknowledge the darkness that they do. Acknowledge the destruction that they do, but don't work against their darkness. Don't work against their infiltration of your work and your website. Work for your life. And focus on your life, your mission, and the work you're trying to do. Because you know what? That light gets rid of all the shadows. Whether you like it or not, the light gets rid of the shadows. And that which you think you do draw upon yourself, believe it or not.
No,
that is truly a universal principle that we cannot escape.
I completely couldn't agree more, as I've shared a few stories with you. I've had my encounters with the men in black. Andrew's had his encounters with secret, these agents. Here's the thing: the Matrix is crumbling, and you have a choice to feed into that fear or not. It is your choice. Yes, that's one reason I was told I needed to go into another line of work, because my server was hacked the first conference we did, and a few interviews after that. But you know what? I like, not anymore. I'm not giving that attention. That's done. That's over with. They know they have no power anymore over me. So obviously they've given up. They've given up. So.
And that's the whole thing is that we have to understand, and Lindsay just made a very good point. The new world order, quote unquote, I'll call it the old world order, is crumbling. And they are desperate, and they are scared, and they've got these little teenage, 22-year-olds in the little NSA office trying to hack into your stuff and cause you something, trolling on your Facebook page.
Right.
To this day, they troll my Facebook page.
Yeah, me too.
All that do is block them.
Right.
And what I say to this in the sense of not only our lives, our work, and our media, don't give them attention. Block them. And I came up with this term, SOB. Scroll on by. SOB. Scroll on by. You know what? You're being a troll. I'm scrolling. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah.
I'm done.
Andrew was actually. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Any of us that are doing this work, the more we feed into the fear, the more the fear is. So, do you want to talk about light, or do you want to talk about darkness? And that's one thing I will say. I'm not going to make believe that, Hillary Clinton is destroying the Bernie camp. Of course I'm going to bring that up. Yeah, Hillary's corrupt, the Democratic Party's corrupt. Yeah, I'm not going to lie about, Donald Trump being, an asshole, for lack of a better term, for my friends.
It's okay.
But, the reality of it is that people are jerks. And it's up to us. What are we going to feed into and retaliate against their stupidity, or are we going to give them a better example of what we can do? So I give everybody, if you're ascending, if you're truly on the path of ascension, it's about taking the high road. It's about not ignoring, it's not acknowledging the darkness and saying, this is what I'm going to do to combat the darkness. I'm not going to feed the darkness. I'm going to move forward with the work that I'm doing to elevate the consciousness of humanity. I am elevating my own consciousness because that is first and foremost, and that's something that many of us forget, that while this is a collective awakening, we have an individual path. And that individual path is about your ascension, your awakening, your elevation of consciousness. Move into that place where you are a light for others. Be the light. Don't be the darkness. Don't be against something. Be for something. Don't get sucked into the fear. Get sucked into the love. Actually, be the love and let people get sucked into your love vortex, for lack of a better term.
Precisely. Yes. I totally could not agree more. Bernard, we do have a speaker that has to go on. He has to be somewhere by 10 p.m. Rob, is that correct? Let me see you through chat. But Bernard, if you want to hang on, and continue, you're more than welcome. It's totally up to you.
No, it's up to you, darling. I'll hang around, but before you want me to come back.
Okay, no. Okay, he said Rob's okay. He pushed the 10 o'clock thing back. So we're good. Keep going, Bernard.
All right. Good. So let me move on to the next part. The next part of this awakening process. And I like where you brought up another story because it is professed that we are going to awaken. It is a part of humanity's story that we awaken. How quickly, or how shall I say, how many of us have ignored what happened in 2012?
Right.
You remember 2012 when everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world, and people were talking about 3 days of darkness and share the world. And you know what happened? You know what happened? That was probably one of the greatest disservices that ever happened to our movement because we lost over 50% of our viewers, our listeners. We lost
And
people that
sadly,
thought something was going to happen, and they gave up and said, screw this.
Yeah, and sadly, some people even to suicide. And that's one
Yes.
thing, and that's one thing that that Andy, Andrew Basciago touched on about this cultish thing. Be careful. Don't let this ascension movement and enlightenment process become a cult. Like, be careful, guys. You're still a human being. You're not.
I don't mind it becoming a cult as long as discernment, as long as you have clarity, and you want to realize that what happened in 2012 was, how should I say, it was the apex of everything we did wrong. Everything we did wrong. I probably lost 50% of my viewers. But meanwhile, I didn't have a problem. The reality of it is that any time, okay, let's talk about the anti-cult like mentality. Let's touch on that for a minute. The anti-cult like mentality includes never believing anyone who talks in numbers.
Right.
If anyone ever said
that is true.
on October, 2019, this is going to happen, or there are 30. By the way, thank you, Andrew, for saying 10,000 lifetimes is a metaphor because that's what it is. Numbers are a metaphor. It's about the gist. It's about understanding the gist. When anyone tells you, I love this. Remember a few years ago during the Olympics, they were perpetuating that a mothership is going to come land on the Olympic field, and all the world leaders are going to come. That's cult. That's called a cult. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree that we must never put all of our, how shall I say, understanding in one basket with one speaker. The reality of it is, and this is what I hope I'm teaching on my website, on my Facebook, and the work that I'm doing is that you are learning to have a conversation with your higher self. You are learning how to find the answers in you. Do not seek outside yourself for the answers. They're not. This conference is very helpful. We're giving you tips. We're helping you, create an understanding of perhaps what the ascension is. The reality of it is, it's all to you. What I say does not matter. What Lindsay says does not matter. What Andrew says does not matter. Unless you resonate in yourself and your soul, and it does not help you evolve, the information is not for you. Be discerning, and I love that word, discernment. Be discerning as to what you allow to be a truth within you by allowing others to influence our motives, by allowing others to influence our empowerment, our awakening, or even our day-to-day understanding of how life is. We're not evolving. You're being lazy. Right. You're not ascending. You're not ascending if you're allowing Carrie Cassie or Alex Jones or Lindsay or Bernard or Andrew to influence your awakening.
Right.
It is not about us.
Thank
it's
you.
About you.
Thank
it's
you
about
thank
your
you. Yeah.
awakening.
Yeah.
Your ascension. About developing a relationship with your higher self. Allow your higher self to guide your awakening. Allow your intuition to guide your awakening. Now with that, okay, so many people complain. I get this constantly. I don't trust my intuition. What do you mean you don't trust your ego? Is it me or my ego? Oh, great question. What is the difference between our intuition, higher self, and our ego? I'll tell you this much. For me, for me, my intuition, when I get information from my intuition, from my higher self, from source, from emissary light, whatever it may be, my mind, I feel good.
Right.
And
Right.
you
You
can
don't.
see my body and I feel very happy when I feel that information. If it's your ego, you will question it. You might feel a little fear. So that's the first thing that you can do. When it comes to developing a relationship with your intuition and your higher self, listen to your body. Your body has complex, complex nervous central system that reacts to the energy around it. Your central nervous system will tighten up or relax. If your central nervous system is relaxing, embracing, that means information is true. For me. Now, this may not work for everybody. I'm saying for me.
Right.
But learn to develop, understand what your relationship is with your higher self, with your intuition. Now, there are cases where you'll get information from your higher self, it'll flow through you, and moments later you might feel fear because you can't move up to that.
Right. Thank
What do you mean
you.
I'm going to change the world? What do you mean I'm a part of the process for humanity? You know, but that comes later. When it's coming through to you, it's loving, it's gentle, it's this aha sensation, beautiful interaction of energy. And I think that's the most important thing I can say here tonight.
Right. It
I
is.
see the world as energy. I understand the world as energy. Where I direct my energy, where the relationship is with the people I interact with. How is the energy with the people I interact with? How is the energy with the work that I do? How is the energy with my loved ones, my roommate, with myself? What's that energy all about? I see the world as energy. And to understand that, you have to really go into your quote unquote emotional self. Understand your emotions. Understand what they're trying to tell you. Don't get me wrong. The emotional self is not bad at all. Just because you're sad about something doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
It's just the way your body is reacting to it. But get to know your emotional self. How is your body relating and cultivating and allowing this information to move through you? And how is your body reacting to it? So developing a relationship with our emotional body is very much a part of this work. And I love what Abraham Hicks said. You know, I know that was 10 years ago, secret, blah, blah, blah. I love Abraham. I love Abraham. Abraham's like, if it doesn't make you feel good,
Don't do it. Yeah.
if it makes you happy,
Yeah.
then don't do it.
Exactly.
Simple. Simple. Are you going upstream or are you going downstream? If
Exactly.
you're going upstream, you're going to feel good about it. If you're going downstream, you're clinging to the bottom. You're clinging, you're going against what source is trying to feed you.
Right.
Be open to
Right.
what source is trying to say to you. This is not about ooey gooey, you know, it's not a fantasy. You're feeling it. You know, in today's world, we try to make emotion something that is not real. You know what? The reality of it is that emotions are a part of our makeup, they're a part of our body. And to ignore what we're feeling, even though the linear logic stuff might want to try to ignore that, we need to embrace that. We need to understand that my emotional self is very much a part of my whole being.
Right.
And that's not only a part of my whole being, it leads me to my intuition. It leads me to my higher self. It teaches me. Abraham Hicks said it, and I'll quote her again. Your emotional body is your inner guidance system. What are you feeling? Do you want to go this way?
You want to go
Or do
that
you want
way?
to go that way? And it will guide you in the right direction. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And if I'm unhappy with something, I'm going to express myself.
Precisely.
That's the way we need to be genuine.
Right, genuine, like being genuine. That exactly.
Thank you. And Andrew brought that up earlier.
Andy,
the
he did.
Ascension is about learning how to be genuine.
Exactly.
When we are genuine with the way that we live, with the way we interact with other people, there is no misconception. There is only honesty. There is no need for clarity. Be genuine. And I understand we all have a certain face to put on with certain people. Yeah, but still try to be genuine.
Right, and that's one thing we here at World Ascension Conference are all about, is just being yourself, please, like you said earlier, we are not the gurus. You are your own guru. And I mean, Bernard, I could just sit down and talk to you all night, and we would have such a party. Yet I do have to begin to open it up for Rob. I do want to ask if I do want to ask Andy right now if there's anything he wants to interject, or if you want to G-U-R-U. That's what Rob just typed. G-U-R-U. Okay. Anyway, so if there's anything Andy wants to say, or you want to say last, Andy, anything you want to say? Yeah, hang on one second.
Not an adherent to Christianity, but I'm familiar with it because it informs American civilization and Western civilization generally. But I would just like to point out, one of the reasons that I emphasize truth so much is because truth and honesty we're not really incorporated. Bernard ended with the theme of truth and being authentic. Truth and honesty and personal authenticity are not really emphasized by Christianity. For example, the fruits of the Holy Spirit, as identified by Paul in his letter to the Galatians, does not include truth, right? It includes love, joy, forbearance, and so forth. And I'm going to be citing that in my interview with you, Lindsay. But it was kind of left out by Paul, just the importance of adhering to the truth and being honest and authentic according to your conception of yourself and your life. I think that's very important. I've actually been sort of creating a doctrine around that in the unfoldment of my truth campaign regarding time travel and Mars visitation, because I'm revealing two aspects of American society and American government and corporate operations that a group of people operating on the basis of fear concluded that the American people themselves should never know about. So I'm trying to deconstruct the culture of fear and of denial of truth that we inherited from our fathers. And I just point out, when I began to sort of look for the foundations of the truth principle in American society around, for example, the issue of extraterrestrials coming here, it's absent. And it's absent because it was absent in our religious dogma that informed the creation of our country.
Right.
And so it needs to be emphasized because it's a missing element. You talk about the mendacity of a certain negative leader like a Richard Nixon. Well, if you what I'm saying is something very specific philosophically and culturally, and that is, if you try to run a line, if you trace a search for the truth doctrine in American culture, you get back to the personal authenticity, the self-reliance of Emerson and Thoreau. But if you go back further into the substrates of the political culture of the United States and the Christian religion that informed it, there's an statement, a lack of emphasis on truth and on personal authenticity.
Yes, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And that's what we need to get back to, people. It all goes back to being true to yourselves. Be slow, be easy on yourself through this ascension process or what have you. Don't take away the things that are helping. Yeah, it's like don't take. Right, and like Bernard was saying, like if you feel like smoking a cigarette, like if it's gonna depend on your freaking sanity, like I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not advocating doing this or doing that. I'm just saying, don't freaking beat yourself up for these things. You know, I see so many people, you know, exercising, vegan diets, all meat paleo diets, going crazy, going wild because they want to be healthy, you know, because they want to be healthy, and they're freaking killing themselves via stress.
They're unhappy.
Yes. So, you know,
Just remember, ascension and evolution does not come from being unhappy. Ascension and evolution does not come from sacrifice. It comes from discipline. And there is a difference between sacrifice and discipline.
right.
Discipline is I choose to do this. Sacrifice is I'm not going to do this because I want something. So understand the difference. Understand that your discipline, your mental discipline can lead to I choose to evolve, I choose to be happy, and I'm going to take the actions that I can do to evolve, be happy, and make the world a better place through harm reduction, through being a good person, and through being happy. Don't sacrifice. Use and discipline. And that would be my closing statement.
Thank you so much, Bernard. That was amazing. You totally, gosh, you're just like me. Oh, in some ways.
I love you, Lindsay.
I love you too. That's why, you know, you came to me in that dream. I mean, we've been working closely for a while. So yeah, I love you so much, man. I really do. And we'll be in contact very soon because I'm gonna pull you. I'm gonna kidnap you and do an interview with you coming up soon. Just you and I through World Ascension, etc. But anyway, lots of love. And just again, thank you so much. We're really grateful for you, Bernard.
My pleasure. Please, more info to bernardavers.com.
Yes.
And I wish everyone a wonderful evening. And Lindsay and Dolly, thank you for what you're doing this evening. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. We will we'll be speaking to you soon.
Thank you, Bernard. That was amazing.
Yes, Bernard is amazing. We got a bunch of amazing people with us here tonight. So
we had such powerhouse tonight.
Yes.
You know, ecstatic. And the chat rooms have been flowing, we've been chatting, and the conversation in there has been so interesting.
Right,
So,
right.
you know,
So I'm gonna let you, Dolly. I'm gonna let you host this amazing man, Rob Gauthier, the ET listener that we all know and love. And Dolly, I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce him, and let's get rolling with him.
okay. Hello, Rob. Are you